Oh, this what they've been waiting on? Ha ha ha! It's the Gringo and Tom show. Let's go. It's the Gringo and Tom show. Y'all ready to go? Late night sports talk. Y'all ready to go? Gringo be hitting his points. Tom coming in and he won't disappoint. Nah. He be swinging for the fences and striking you out. Now let's see what this is all about. It's the Gringo and Tom show, y'all ready to go? It's the Gringo and Tom show, y'all ready to go? Ready to go, we're ready to go. It's the Gringo and Tom show, y'all ready to go? Hey, it's starting right about now.
All right, here we go. It's the Gringo and Tom Show, episode number 5. Here we go. Today is the first weekend of legit baseball being played. That is huge. I'm super excited for this weekend. How about you, Tom?
Dude, opening day was so awesome. I was looking forward to it for so long. It did not disappoint. I mean, maybe in the traditional sense, but it was so much fun to see baseball again. So much fun.
Seeing those fans on display over there, seeing
Oh
them
yeah.
run on
Loved seeing the fans back.
their favorite players. That's just an amazing sight to see.
Amazing.
Okay, so we're going to start this off with some storylines for today. We're going to start off with the first headline, which is the All-Star game being relocated from Georgia. When you first heard this, Thomas, what was your opinion about it?
I thought that it was a matter of time until MLB had to make a decision on this. There was a lot of pressure for this to happen. And I think MLB ultimately did the right thing because there were a lot of players that were not happy with the laws that were being passed in the area in terms of the voters. And who could blame them? But they were not going to show up to the All-Star game, and MLB had to do something about that. They couldn't continue because their players were making a statement. That's something we haven't been seeing from the sport a lot throughout its history. So it's great these players were able to, come out a little bit and show their displeasure towards real world events. And yeah, MLB made the right call here. I know the Braves are upset because they were going to have Hank Aaron celebrations, but you know, they could do that in their home opener and really make it special still. I hope they do a great job with that, and I believe they will. They can still do a great job with that. What are your thoughts?
Well, you make some great points there in terms of minority players not accepting going to the game because of the laws that had been put into place in Georgia. That was a big thing. I'm proud of Major League Baseball for even putting their foot down
Big step
despite
forward.
having more backlash with basically there was going to be more backlash with this decision. So they decided to go with the players, with the minority players, because at the end of the day, baseball is player oriented. Doesn't matter about certain players not accepting, the idea of, what's going on in the political world and them trying to separate that. But we're living in the 21st century in 2021. Players have a platform. If they're in a professional sport, they're able to talk about what they feel is important as much as we have to even make this podcast, or as much as other people have to express whatever they want. And the idea of shut up and play is a concept that shouldn't be involved in any type of situation in terms of sports anymore.
No, way outdated.
The influence of social media is just super, super important. And that's how that's how everything comes across now. That's how we find information out.
That's everywhere,
why it's
man.
Super important. 100%.
Good points all around.
Yes.
But who knows? This could be a turning point for MLB with the whole union thing, the labor disputes. So hopefully that this is a sign that shows that MLB's got the players' backs in this. Hope that's
100%.
hope it's a turning point. It could
100%.
be.
Yes.
All right. So what do we
That's
got next?
great. Okay.
Good
So
points though.
our next storyline, we're going to be talking about the Yankees' overall performance during opening day. Obviously, the result wasn't what we wanted,
No, it
but
wasn't.
there was some bright moments during the game, and
For
we're
sure.
first going to talk about the things that the Yankees didn't do a good job of, which is runners
Mhm.
in scoring position. Thomas, talk about that a little bit.
How we say it all year long. The dreaded games where you don't hit with runners in scoring position, they'll happen all the time. And everybody just looked a little bit flat. Everybody was a little bit tardy on the fastball. Some of the breaking balls were being chased. It happens. It's one of those games where the hits just weren't falling. They were falling in at times, but Aaron Judge, I think the biggest spot in the game was Aaron Judge, I think it was the 7th inning, bases loaded and 1 out, hits a double play. It was a hard hit ball, but that was the big blow. As soon as that happened, I'm like, oh, the Yankees they're probably not going to win this game.
Very
It wasn't
unfortunate.
meant to be.
Very unfortunate.
There's nothing you can
Um,
do. Let's move on to the next
but
game.
yeah, move on to the next game. But one thing to talk about that is the Yankees are used to struggling during. They have their April woes. Like this has been sadly a situation that's happened a multitude of years, like
Oh
for
yeah.
consecutive years. Like I can remember when I was young, in 2006, 2007, 2008, around those years when I started watching baseball, the Yankees would start their season 9-12, 11-11, 7-13, and I'm like, this is not the Yankees that I'm accustomed to seeing. But the thing is, we have to accept that they're going to start off sluggish, especially hitters need to, like, they need to start reading pitchers and see what's
Yeah.
going on. They need to understand that. So we'll see what happens in terms of the next game, and we'll move on with trying to see a rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, spring trading is a lot of at bats for the hitters, but they need even more at bats than that sometimes to get ready. And
Also, too, what cold? It was cold.
it was
Going
cold.
from Florida to New York, that's a huge difference. The ball does not fly in cold temperatures.
No, but we'll get to that a little later, that there were a couple of instances where that did not matter.
Yes.
But yeah, you're totally right. It looked like the hitters were just a little behind the pitches. They were looking a little sluggish, but it's okay. Both teams had the same problems. Blue Jays
100%.
weren't looking too sharp themselves. They eventually came out and won in the ninth. The 10th inning, it was Randall Grichuk's double that won the game, but they
Oh,
both teams were
with the
struggling.
stupid 10 inning, the extra inning rule where there's a man on second, but
Oh,
they
you,
don't decide to have
hmm.
what the universal DH. How does that make
Oh,
sense?
dude, no, I think that's totally stupid. I think MLB kind of dropped the ball here with that. You know what they did though? They got rid of the universal DH because they know the players want that so badly. That's going to be a chip for when they're going over the
Leverage for
new. Yup,
contracts.
there you go. The new collective bargaining agreement at the end of the season. So that's why they did that. But the extra inning rule, I'm gonna have to disagree with you a little bit. I know that it's kind of stupid to have it in a 162 game season, because you would think they put it in a 60 game season.
I
Everybody's dealing
understood
with
that. I
shorthanded
was not
teams.
opposed to that.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
because there were teams like the Marlins that were literally just they were down all those players and they needed to protect as many pitchers as possible. I guess this year they're doing the same mentality that a lot of these pitchers aren't stretched out, but I think that it's good and it's bad. I think it could be bad because in a 162 game season, there's going to be a lot more extra inning games. So there's a lot more opportunities for this to go wrong. Even though there's still not that many extra inning games in general,
I'm
I
gonna
it's
propose something.
let's hear it.
How about so let's say for from the 10th inning, let's say you start extra innings. Let's say by the 13th inning, you put a man on second
That's not a bad idea.
because
I think
it
even
allows
earlier
some
than that.
breathing room which help, to see whether or not they're like, if the pitching is good, there's opportunities for both teams to see whether or not playing normally, if runs come in. If runs don't come in, then the 13th inning, put the man at second, and by the 14th, if it goes to 15th inning, put the man on third for both teams.
Oh, you're saying change the rule on the fly kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know how many teams would be on board with that, but that would be interesting if they could do that. I think that I like the idea of having it only after a certain amount of extra innings, because I think having it right away, it really makes it like that
Oh,
the games end after they're not going past the 11th inning. A team's
no.
gonna win it pretty quickly.
Well, actually, it
Interesting though.
reminds me more of college football, where they have it at
Hmm.
like the 10 or 20-yard line, and it's basically like it's like a free for all, where it's like, okay, you score a touchdown, I score a touchdown. It could be
I
like,
think that's
oh,
where it came from.
you get a hit here, I get a hit here, we score a run. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, that's where it comes from pretty much.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that it's not a bad rule, but I could
yeah,
see why you would think that it's not the greatest.
exactly. Which brings us to some great performances, and the most important performance for the Yankees was Gary Sanchez, a home run and a great throw to second in the 7th inning. He was beautiful
He
yesterday.
looked super, super good. I feel good about Sanchez. I felt good about him for a while. I knew he was working his tail off this off season, but man, did he really show up and put up a good performance. He needed that. His first game
We
of the season.
we
He needed
talked
that.
about that in the first and second episode,
Yes,
that
we did.
Gary was gonna come, and he was Kraken was gonna hit that ball.
The Kraken.
100%.
I
And
knew he
then
was hitting it as soon as that ball. Not even before that. As soon as he stepped to the box, I'm like, hey, what if he hit a home run?
he
I'm like,
changed his
nah.
batting stance too. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you noticed that.
Yeah, he definitely did. Looks a little less noisy.
Yeah, because his left leg was higher last year, and it was moving around, dancing around. Didn't really get the rhythm of when the pitch was coming in. That was what he struggled with.
Yeah, he had a lot of trouble with the fastball, which is a pitch that he's supposed to crush because he's a power hitter. He
Exactly.
obviously that he didn't get a fastball yesterday, but he crushed that ball. There is no doubt about that.
100%.
Yeah, good stuff for him.
Yeah. Another thing to note for the Yankees is the bullpen was masterful. It was great. It was great. Darren O'Day.
Oh,
We
he was
also had the
beautiful.
likes of
We had Loizaga.
Loizaga
Yep,
also did
he
a
looked
great
good.
job. He's escaping my name. Who was in between Loizaga and O'Day?
We had Darren O'Day
Yeah,
pitch after it was Chad Green. Chad Green was the
Chad
first guy
Green.
out of the
Yes,
pen.
he pitched. He got out of
He looked all
trouble as
right.
well.
He was having trouble locating his slider, but because that's a new pitch for him, he's a fastball only pitcher for most of his career. Now he's trying to mix in some sliders. It was mixed results, but he got his hitters out. His fastball looked good.
Yes, without a doubt.
Excited to see what he can do this year.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about some other takeaways from opening day with other teams. Tom, take it away with your second favorite team, the Dodgers.
Another disappointing start. Yeah, it was a very weird game. I didn't expect anything otherwise from Coors Field. It's a very weird ballpark. I think every single pitcher that pitched in the game, their breaking balls were just not working. Every single one. Kershaw's breaking balls just kept hanging over the. He literally wasn't even throwing mistakes. They just weren't even making it to the strike zone. He was overthrowing them because he was. Coors Field's weird. It has weird effects on breaking balls. And all pitchers were struggling. Dodgers, Rockies pitchers.
Speaking
It
of
was awful.
struggling pitchers, that dinger by Bellinger, I was like, oh my gosh,
You
how did
mean
that not count?
single? Yep, it was a single. He missed the bag, and they had Turner score. And thank goodness they had Turner score. They claimed that Bellinger made the mistake after Turner had scored, so at least one run happened. But then Bellinger got a single and then an out. So
Oh my God.
It was kind of a
That was
sloppy game for the Dodgers, for
mm,
sure. Kind of a sloppy
yeah.
game. Couple
Coming
wild pitches.
from the World Series high, as they say.
Yeah. And then to the highs of Coors Field. It was
Yep.
they came back in the ninth inning though. Daniel Bard, the Rockies closer. He didn't look very good. They got the bases loaded against him, but the umpires they just didn't seem to want the Dodgers to win. But it's okay. It's
It's all
okay.
right.
Rockies played well. Dodgers just came up a little bit short. Play again now. Dodgers are winning right now, by the way.
Oh,
Doing
great.
well against the Rockies in the first inning. So fingers crossed that this game ends up differently than
Yeah.
yesterday's.
We'll see what happens. And then my takeaway from opening day was the Houston Astros, the trash can team themselves. They played
Hate
against
those
the
guys.
A's, but Chad Pinder with some beautiful catches
Yeah, dude.
in the third inning and the sixth inning.
He's an
He was
athlete.
a stud. He
Oh,
was a
he's a
stud.
stud. He can play everywhere pretty well. Good
Yeah.
defender all across the diamond. Yeah, he made
But
two nice catches.
ultimately the Astros got the victory there. But one thing to note is when they called Correa and Altuve's name in the Coliseum, there was a lot of boos for those
Boo!
fans. So it was great to see. And then Correa got hit, which was something else to note, which was just great to see. Bassick just was like, let me just hit you right now. I'm pissed off at you. The fans are here. Let's see something great.
Just a little graze in the arm. Nothing too crazy there.
Yeah, but it was funny.
It was funny. 100%
Yeah.
funny.
So yeah, we're gonna end our podcast with today in baseball history. So on April 2nd, in 1992, the Phillies acquired right-hander Curt Schilling from Houston in exchange for Jason Grimley,
Who?
Jason Grimsley,
Who the heck is that?
who never pitched in an Astros
Oh,
uniform.
that's why I haven't heard of him.
So in other words, the Phillies got Curt Schilling for next to nothing, and he played for about 9 seasons, I'm sorry. 101 wins and 78 losses with a 3.35. That was a steal.
Pretty darn good. Yeah,
Steal.
that's not one of the best trades for the Astros, I'll tell you that. Definitely not. But
that was such a steal.
100% a steal. I mean, we know Curt Schilling is a controversial player, not getting inducted into the Hall of Fame this past year, but he's definitely put up a tremendous career. And that's just a trade that Houston definitely wants back every second of their living lives. That's a crazy lopsided trade. Man.
Another thing too is around that time, Randy Johnson was with Houston in those. So that could have been a combination of Schilling and Johnson.
Just like with the D-backs.
Like pre-D-backs?
The team that dethroned the evil empire.
Pre-D-backs.
Wow.
That was great history to tell. But this is our show for this week, and we're gonna leave you with our theme song. So here we go. We'll see you next time, everyone.
See you next week. Enjoy baseball. Enjoy Easter as well.
Oh, this what they've been waiting on? Ha ha ha! It's the Gringo and Tom show. Let's go. It's the Gringo and Tom show. Y'all ready to go? Late night sports talk. Y'all ready to go? Gringo be hitting his points. Tom coming in and he won't disappoint. Nah. They be swinging for the fences and striking you out. Yeah. Now let's see what this is all about. It's the Gringo and Tom show. Y'all ready to go? It's the Gringo and Tom show. Y'all ready to go? Ready to go. River ready to go. It's the Gringo and Tom show. Y'all ready to go? Hey, it's starting right about now.